wisdom. The lowly will be set high, and those who suffer will be fulfilled. Our difficulty doesn't cease, but our suffering does lessen. Is this unrealistic? If we open our eyes to see that our difficulty is transformed to the degree we know the love of God, Jesus' sage advice is reasonable and ultimately practical. Right after Jesus' assurance that the poor in spirit and the persecuted are blessed, he charges his disciples. They've been persecuted themselves in their role as Jesus' followers. He charges them to be the salt of the earth. Salt was an essential element in that time. It preserved food. It made life more enjoyable. It purified wounds. As the salt of the earth, Jesus' followers are not only saved people, they are saving people. Through their ministries, they healed wounds, provided spice to the lives of those to whom they brought the good news of love of God. Their loving acts are God's love. And then Jesus anoints his disciples, who are the light of the world, a city built on a mountain cannot be hid. Jesus' disciples, that's all of us as followers of Jesus, are appointed to be the light of the world on Jesus' behalf. We are recipients of Jesus' radical version of God's blessedness. Even in our brokenness, in our poverty, in our illness of spirit, perhaps especially in our own suffering, we are the preserving spice of the earth. We are God's light on the mountain. Back to the jungle. After his injury, John couldn't walk, and so he lay low for a number of days in the jungle camp, hoping he wouldn't be fired upon because he couldn't defend himself. Every night, each soldier would dig 2 holes, one to sleep in and the other to fight from. Burrowing down into the hard ground provided them with essential safety in the dark of the night. But there's no way John could dig his own holes after he was hurt. The first night after John's injury, and each night until he could care for himself, Dix, the guy who had bullied John for months, quietly dug John's 2 sleeping holes, his sleeping hole and his foxhole, after digging his own. After all these years, how does John remember Styx? It's through this single image of a man silently digging holes of safety that have stayed with John for 40 years. John was able to locate Styx a couple of years ago, and he called him to thank him. And you know what? Styx didn't even remember that he had dug those holes for John. Apparently, being the salt of the earth and the light of the world came naturally to this tough young kid in the dark night of the Vietnam jungle, even as he experienced his own hell. And the little 5-year-old boy who joined us at Christmas camp, he would panic and he would run when he felt overwhelmed. But he received care from one of the children who regularly attend this church. Just 6 years old himself, who repeatedly put his arm around the younger boy and spoke kind words to him. The child in our congregation had recently had a serious accident, and even in his own discomfort, he was the salt of the earth and the light of the world to this child. And even while the older children were trying to remember their places and their lines for the beautiful Christmas pageant, they kindly assisted the younger ones throughout the week. Salt and light in a Christmas pageant. Yes, life is hard. We wonder if we can make a difference while we feel so put upon. We wonder if we can make a difference when we're all just trying to find our own way. But the power of God, the light of the world, lives within each and every one of us, providing the spice, the light, and the love within us so we have plenty to go around. How is God lighting the way for you in your own blessed brokenness? When we live our lives from the light, we discover that we needn't wait until our own suffering has subsided for us to share God's love. We needn't wait until we're fully healed or until we have courage or the talent or the time. We needn't wait until we get a job or we're retired or until someone treats us better or our mood improves or our kids grow up. You are the salt of the earth in this time and place. You are the essential saving ingredient that adds spice to the world. You are God's light in the here and now, acting on behalf of Christ in the world. As God's light, we take on Jesus' authority. We are the ones who are the beacon on the mountain for all to see. So, notice your own life at the turning of this new year. When have you made that difference in someone's life, in spite of yourself? Look in the mirror and say, way to go.